We now go above and beyond the headlines with Presidential Spokesperson and Chief Legal Counsel, Sal Panelo. Welcome to Newsnight, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Yeah, Secretary Panelo, thank you very much again for joining us. Can we begin with the President's tirades against the Church? Basically, the question here is, whatever happened to that council or that group of, that small group of people that the President formed to dialogue with the Catholic Church? Ano po nangyari doon? That was,
I don't know whatever happened. They started meeting, and then after that, wala na. Alam mo naman tayo mga Pilipino, hindi nga skugol.
So wala na?
Wala. Wala na ako narinig after that.
Okay, and is that why the President has renewed criticism of the Catholic Church?
No, you know, let me clarify this. He's not criticizing the Catholic Church. He's criticizing some men of the cross.
All right, but sir, why, you know, bakit bumalik itong criticism of some men of the cloth, because he had already said before that he wouldn't be saying anything anymore?
No, but you know, the situation calls for it. Even the Pope has already validated his statement on some men of the cloth. The Pope has called a summit. The Pope has reprimanded men of the cloth. So the situation is right for any comment or continuing criticism.
Did something happen in the recent months? Was there any conversation between the President and any member of the Catholic Church or the the hierarchy of the Catholic Church?
No, there isn't, except for if you remember, he was reacting to a priest who was praying to God that he be put away permanently.
Okay. So can we talk about other matters? The President has been speaking about these drugs that have been found along the shores of the country, you know, in many different parts. Cocaine specifically, several bricks of them, amounting to hundreds of millions of pesos already. The President was saying that these come from Colombia, from the drug cartel there. Pidea, however, is not saying the same thing, not very solid on that. Where is the President getting this information? Where is this coming from?
You must remember that the President, as President of this country, has resources beyond the resources that the ordinary enforcement agencies have. So he must be getting some credible information coming from, for all we know, from the government of Colombia itself.
The government of Colombia. You're saying there is the embassy.
No, what I'm saying that as president, he will have a lot of resources coming from all governments,
which Pidea would not have its hands on either.
Yeah.
Ganun po ba?
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
Pidea, the Philippine National Police, the armed forces wouldn't have that same information that the President has.
Well, certainly, there are certain sources that these other agencies may not have access to.
So you're saying that the President is, and you're saying that the entire Duterte administration, Malacanang, is saying that the President is entirely correct that these drugs, this cocaine, bricks of cocaine, are coming from Colombia?
Oh, definitely. When the President says something, he does not say it from out of nowhere. He must have some credible information or sources.
He must have some credible information. So, like, when we talk about credible information, is the information available to him about how exactly these drugs get here? What ships they're on? What kind of cargo ships? You know, how are they dumped? How far away from the shore, for example? At what certain points are they dumped? And this is not just information, not just based on where those cocaine bricks are turning up.
That particular information, I do not know whether he has that. I'll have to ask him that.
I see. Okay. Can we also ask Secretary Panelo about, well, for example, that meeting with Nur Miswari and other activities that the President has been holding? Apparently, a lot of people have taken note of the fact that former Special Assistant to the President, Bongo, has been still with the president all this time. But he is, like we were saying, former special assistant to the president. So in what capacity is he attending these events? You know, of course, people are saying he has access still to the president.
Well, he is a personal friend of the president.
And
there is no law prohibiting any individual from being with the president.
Being with the president and attending all these, well, official government functions and activities.
Well, let's just say he happens to be there. He is a senatorial candidate, and any candidate would want to be with the president anytime.
Yeah, well, we're showing pictures of this meeting with former MNLF Chairman Nur Miswari and other officials of the MNLF. This is apparently, well, this is not a campaign.
Well, if he happens to be there and there was a courtesy call, certainly we would not be surprising that we see him there.
Mm-hmm. So he is a personal friend of the president, but apparently he has, kumbaga, what we call parang first dibs on information, on government information.
On what kind of information?
First dibs. In other words, you get that information. You're one of the first, if not the first, to get that information or to be there.
Oh, not necessarily. For instance, if former Secretary Bongo happens to be in the palace and there is a courtesy call of some foreign dignitaries, he happens to be there, and the president sees him, necessarily the president would perhaps invite him to join them.
Yeah. Were you, Secretary Panelo, at that meeting with Nur Miswari?
I was not, because I was out of the country, but I knew of the meeting. I know what transpired there.
Ah, okay. Well, can you tell us more about what transpired in that meeting?
Well, actually, it was a 15-minute meeting with the chairman, and the president apologized to him and commended him for being very patient, because apparently there were talks between him and the chairman about certain things that the president failed to attend to by reason of the many matters affecting the state that he has to attend to. And he was telling the chairman that they have to talk again because he had to attend to other things last night.
For clarification, 50-minute 50 or 15? 15
No, 15.
15.
15
okay.
minutes or less.
Oh, you
because
said
the chairman is flying to attend the OIC conference.
That's right. You said that the president apologized to Mr. Miswari. For what, sir, exactly?
Yes, because apparently I said the two of them had a talk some time before, and they were, I think they had an agreement on certain matters that need to be attended by the president, and apparently the president wasn't able to attend to that. And the chairman did not react to the delay, whatever they were talking about.
So the president apologized, but Mr. Miswari did not react to the delay because of.
No, I think if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about federalism.
Federalism.
Yeah, because the chairman, as we know by now, wants federalism instead of the VOL. He finds federalism better than VOL.
Okay. Well, we have heard, there have been reports that Mr. Miswari, or at least his group within the MNLF, is not very happy with the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. That is what they talked about. Ganun po ba? And how's the federalism, you know, the idea of Mr. Miswari for federalism, how is that going to meld, perhaps, I don't know if that's the correct word, with the entity that will be known as the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao?
First, I would like to make a clarification on the reaction of so-called some MNLF members. That was not taken up yesterday. The fact alone that the chairman did not mention anything about that or complain about that, I think we don't have a problem of that. Now, with respect to federalism, I think the concept of federalism that the president wants would be beneficial to the group of Miswari in Mindanao. as we all know, the federalism would mean decentralization of powers from the central government to the rest of the local government units.
So I'm sorry sir, so the President apologized to Mr. Miswari but hindi pinag-usapan ang, the opinions of Mr. Miswari and his group within the MNLF about the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region.
That was
ang
not taken.
pinag-usapan lang is federalism. Kumbaga, so in other words, pinag-usapan lang federalism, they didn't talk about the, shall we call it the elephant in the room?
No, I'm not sure about whether it's federalism. What I'm saying is that was the talk of the two prior to their meeting today. And I'm just speculating that perhaps that was what the president was referring to, that he could not attend to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I remember that the chairman wanted federalism and not BOL because he finds it better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So was this meeting a way by which the president was reaching out to Mr. Miswari after the MILF officials were at Malacanang last week and after the, the apparently successful plebiscite on the BOL?
Not reaching out because both of them have agreed to meet sometime after they met prior. That has been their agreement to be meeting and talking whatever they want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And the president has repeatedly said that during his speeches in various occasions.
Yeah. So what's going to happen moving forward? You have Mr. Miswari for federalism, not exactly very supportive of the Bangsamoro organic law. What did the president promise Mr. Miswari this time around?
Let me clarify that. Not necessarily that Miswari doesn't want BOL now. Since it has been ratified, I suppose, as we said, we will have to respect the majority. So for now, I think he has no choice but to support. After all, he doesn't find it bad. He only finds federalism better than BOL. Mm-hmm. It's still good, but to him, federalism is better.
All right. Okay. Well, Presidential Spokesperson Sal Panelo, sir, thank you very much for joining us this evening.